The only source of knowledge is experience. Albert Einstein. Outdated. Wrong. Propaganda. Today, we're going to transfer our years of experience into knowledge for you via Neuralink. By the end of this video, you'll be so proficient that you'll be able to fly RC the same way Stevie Wonder is able to read music. Bad example, moving on. Our first tip for you all is to stick to what you like. Don't enjoy 3D flying? Go to therapy so you're not so insecure about having something to prove to everyone. Don't enjoy planes arriving broken? Don't buy Hobby King. Don't enjoy crashing? Sounds like a skill issue to me. We kid. Even with the small niche that RC flying is, there's a ton of subcategories out there that we believe everyone can find passion in. Sure, get outside your comfort zone as much as you can to improve, but if you simply aren't enjoying a facet you're exploring, move on. Ben and I have personally tried nitro planes multiple times early in our time in the hobby, but we got tired of needing toilet paper to wipe our planes like we do ourselves after a fun trip to Taco Bell. On the same token though, don't be afraid to explore different areas of the hobby. Just know when to call it quits to avoid burning out. Up next, we have changing your mindset. Some people laugh when they crash, others cry. Our advice is to grow a pair or invest in Bitcoin so you can actually afford it. Jokes aside, crashing is part of the hobby and you're just going to have a bad time if you can't find the fun in it. Bonus, learning from your mistakes really is the only way to improve as a pilot. Instead of worrying about what you cannot control, shift your energy to what you can create. It's some dumb quote we found on Google in 2 seconds. You, sir, can create some horrific moments of mass terror with that 700 milliliter gas tank. Enjoy the memories you create with your friends, or you can choose to cringe about it because all those friends are imaginary. The common denominator here is mindset. All we ask is that you see the bigger picture here. Crashing or having a bad experience all leads to experience, knowledge, and improvement.
No!
You gotta be kidding me, dude!
You missed the runway, do it again.
So that means we're not gonna burn it?
For our third point, we have treating planes like they're as disposable as Flight Test has treated some of their cast. Unlike Josh Scott, foam is replaceable. If you're afraid of losing your stunning $299 swap meet special, don't buy it. Go start making some planes out of foam board you couldn't care less about. Flight Test has some awesome kits available for cheap that'll cost pennies compared to the damage your spouse causes to your car on a monthly basis. Celebrate the small moments. Yeah, it happens to all of us where we go to our logbook and realize we logged 4 landings and only 1 takeoff. But hey, guess what? At least you didn't try flying a full-scale plane legally blind.
Gotta go fast! Gotta go fast! Gotta go faster, 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 faster!
Or unintentionally tried killing your child because that build should have only taken you a week or 2 if Timmy would have just shut the hell up. While it can be extremely intimidating watching someone like our buddy Cody fly right before you, pro tip, he doesn't care what your skill level is. No one does. Or they shouldn't. If they do, disown them. When you arrive at the flight line, approach it with the attitude of being interested in nothing else except having fun and improving. While there may be some ballbusters at your field, we promise they really don't care about how much skill you have or don't. Instead of comparing yourself to others, compare yourself to where you were last season.
What is that all about?
We're all here for the same reason, to pretend we could fly an airliner if the pilot suddenly became incapacitated. We've seen a lot of comments about people who hoard planes but have never flown them. Do you really enjoy staring at a magazine with porn stars? Wouldn't you rather experience the real thing? Sure, the easy thing is to just stare at your model on the wall, but imagine the dopamine hit after a successful flight or a sketchy dead stick landing you nailed. And as our favorite office manager says that he said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. You won't know until you find out, so why not give it a shot? Worst case, you will have a really embarrassing crash and memory that friends will 100% bring up at your funeral. But really though, leaving models on the wall is like looking at women as property. They're both meant to go experience life. Definitely let them. Our best tip for those that do hoard planes is to donate them to AMA clubs with youth programs or to a kid you may know is passionate about aviation but isn't in a position to buy a toy that costs as much as a cheap laptop. That's how I personally got into the hobby, and I'll never forget my first plane and the man who gave it to me. Pay it forward. Create good habits. The best analogy we could think of was not taking piano lessons or watching tutorials on how to play it and developing a terrible habit playing the piano that leads to carpal tunnel and the inability to ever comfortably fly a toy plane in the first place. The law of primacy is real, folks. Learn it the right way first so you don't have to unlearn bad habits and procedures. Take us, for example. We chose not to ever check if our receiver had a solid connection to our Aura when we had the opportunity 50 plus times.
That was cool. Whoa, dude.
Sure, it was 1 in 1,000 odds, but our point is, create good habits for yourself. Pre-flight your planes thoroughly before each flight, or verify when you're ready to land that there's not another plane on the runway. Try your best to not leave anything to fate whenever possible. Much like full-scale aviation, our job is to mitigate risk. Figure out how you can do so. Or, if you're like us, don't become complacent. It's easy to grow to a level of confidence where you feel the rules don't apply to you, but trust us, they always will. Our next tip is to not take the hobby so seriously. If you've been in the hobby long enough, you'll have met one of our favorite stereotypes. The guy who treats our toy airplanes like they have a nuclear bomb attached to them. Pro tip, they don't. But really though, we've met a lot of people who get frustrated in this hobby because they treat every crash like they just killed 100 plus people when all they really did was kill the potential of a bird making a home on that one branch. It's okay, man. Exxon will wipe them out anyways. When emotions kick in, do your best to remind yourself that these are just toys.
And you die. I fucking swear!
Yeah, I'm really pissed. Really pissed.
The kid who almost wiped your plane out didn't intend to, and the nitro engine that refuses to start isn't upset you cheated on your spouse. Plot twist. You are. Expecting a $500 model when you paid $40 for it. Look, this hobby will teach you one of the best lessons in life. You get what you pay for. Hobby King models often fall apart before they even arrive. Sure, you paid $40 for something that would be $100 from Horizon, but don't forget the headache you'll get when your wife complains about your $40 model turning into $120 after the parts you're forced to purchase. Quality is hard to come by in this hobby, and don't worry, this isn't about to turn into a Flex Innovations ad read about our store. You really do get what you pay for in this hobby. Sure, Real Flight charges $100 a year for some new airplanes and flying sites. Totally worth it. Psych. Not at all. We've seen time and time again, kids and adults alike asking for advice on a good beginner plane. We give them our advice, which is always usually an Aero Scout or Carbon Cub S2, and then they say, well, I found a $100 plane on a random Chinese website, so I'm going to try it instead. Then, a week later, when it falls apart before they even put it together, they complain about it to us after the fact. Look, our overall point is to not buy a $40 Chinese knockoff and expect it to fly the same as a properly developed $200 model. They just don't compare. Don't throw out the idea of a gyro because you heard a bad remark from a guy who barely can fly himself without one. He's just trying to sound superior or pull the back in my day like every generation does when becoming older than the up-and-coming generation. Fly with safe or an auto leveler if you want. We really don't care. This hobby is all about enjoying it, and if that's the way you enjoy it, continue doing so by all means. Sure, some people may give you crap about it, but ultimately, the only reason you're in this hobby is because of yourself. This goes back to our first point, do what you enjoy. Up next, we have recognizing that this hobby is hard, and that's also the reason it's so fun. If you want something that doesn't require skill, go buy a DJI drone. However, how often do you see someone going out all season and flying one of those? Not often. Most get purchased, flown twice, then left in a closet because that's the end of their journey. Getting an airplane in the air at all is a bigger achievement for sure. Don't be afraid of finding someone else to fly your airplanes for you. It's okay to admit that you suck and that your $499 pile of foam is best left to the expert at the field for the maiden flight. Every field has someone known for being the safest option for mating an airplane. Let them prevent a scrap pile heartache and see if you can learn from them while you're at it. There's no shame there. Experience is a great teacher, and we admit it, Einstein was right after all. In order to get good at something, you have to start by sucking. Don't be too hard on yourself, and never forget that skill doesn't equate to fun. This hobby is whatever you make of it. Press the like button if you think that transmitter neck strap length has an inverse relationship to confidence, and go ahead and hit subscribe if you're feeling insecure about your flying, because we have some fun educational videos in the works. Happy landings, and bounce one on for us. We'll catch you all next week with a new upload.
Dude, sucking at something is the first step towards being sorta good at something.